But here's another thing I'd like to talk about. Here's another subject. Let me get a quick drink here. So off stream or on stream, I started painting or assembling a model, but I didn't finish it on stream. I kind of just finished it on my own time. And I even went so far as to paint it just a little bit. And here it is. Actually, on stream, it looks pretty nice. There it is. The vending machine. Look at it in all its glory. A beautiful rectangular cube, a beautiful beige rectangular cube. Definitely one of the weirdest things I've bought since coming back to the hobby. Weirdest model I've built, and I've built my fair share of monsters and demons and aliens and whatever, and yet this is definitely got to be one of the most unusual things. But I actually, for its simplicity and its mundaneness, is that a word? How mundane it is, I actually think it's pretty neat because it's exactly what it is. And I was assembling this thing, and I more or less finished it. And then it occurred to me, I can actually show the box art too. I've got it here by my side. It occurred to me, how does this thing even operate? Like, I didn't fully understand, and maybe if I understood Japanese, maybe I could, maybe I would have understood better. But like, there's these two doors, right? There's this one door here, which I opened up, and there's another door here, which, yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can actually see it better here. These two doors. And yeah, maybe Bacon might understand because he understands Japanese. But I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what this was. And I didn't even understand why it was so big, right? But yeah, if you type in on YouTube vending machine, udon, soba, maybe nostalgic vending machine, udon soda or soba, if you type in some kind of variation of that, you'll get actually a decent amount of results. You'll actually get a decent amount of results showing the real life vending machine. Unfortunately, you can't really get a good look at it if it's above here, so I gotta put it like that. Showing the real life vending machine and how it works. And yeah, there's definitely these, even though this is called a nostalgic vending machine, they're still in circulation to this day. They're still in use to this day in Japan. And you can watch a couple of videos of their operation, and it sounds so weird to say that, like, I found it super interesting, someone buying something from a vending machine. And maybe when I put this up on YouTube, I could actually post a link to it later. But yeah, basically you make your order, and now this one here, the two stickers are actually the same, which I thought was kind of unusual. There's two. So in the sticker sheet, there's multiple stickers and variations of this, but in the instruction they just tell you to use these two in particular, which are actually the same thing. Bacon, I think the window on the left is for chopsticks and stuff. Yeah, that's exactly what it was, because when I watched the video, yeah, that's where it comes from. And then this is where you get your actual noodles and stuff. But I'm very curious as to why it's this large. Like, in real life, this machine is quite big, and it seems like this portion here, I'm assuming that the whole portion of this thing is sort of creating all the stuff that's required to make your order. But when you're building this model, they almost make it seem like it's like two separate units that are just pushed together. And yet the portion that makes your soba udon noodles seemingly is just on this side, and then the rest for dispensing the chopsticks is this large. That's probably not accurate, right? It's probably the entirety of the machine. And yeah, so two things I'd like to note about this. when I was watching the videos, some of them were outdoors. Night Trap looking good. That's a good looking beige cube. Maybe it's for storage of all the noodles and cups. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, and also the mechanical operation, especially if it's an older machine such as this, it would have to be large because that's just how things were back then, right? Um, in the videos that I saw, one of them was actually outdoors. And so because it was outdoors, there was like slight weathering on this machine just because, think about anything that's outdoors, even like your regular pop or soda vending machine, it's going to have a bit of wear and tear, right? So, that obviously calls to mind all the stuff that I was doing previously in the previous segment, making my weathering powders. And I'm not saying I'll go to that extent to really go in and weather this thing extensively, but it's something that I'm actually, considering at least a little bit, just a little slight weathering. Maybe not. The other thing that's kind of neat that I saw was that even though this machine, in my research on YouTube, even though this machine is pretty much one to one, like it really does look like this, right? Even as far as like how these silver sort of parts are laid out. Each of the videos I saw still had a bit of distinct uniqueness to it because, like anything, there might be extra notes glued on top saying like, oh, we ran out of chopsticks, or please don't take any more chopsticks than necessary, or this thing is out of order, this and that. All sorts of stickers and maybe little doodles and stuff all over the box, and extra metal plates that are put here to kind of make sure that like it's easier to clean or something, or maybe it's better for the weathering, like because they were outdoors, adding like an extra metal plate towards the bottom just kind of helped protect it more. All of these little details that I had seen made the vending machines look more individualistic, have a little more personality and character to them. So that's actually another thing that I might consider doing as well later down the line. I took some pictures, some screen caps of the of the details of the video as I was watching it, and I could probably put those into Photoshop and then take them to a print store or something and then print them out in miniature and then glue them on. Glue the little notes and stuff just to make it seem like like it has more personality or something. That could be pretty neat. Just a thought. But as it is, I'm pretty happy with this thing. I mean, it is what it is, right? This front part easily comes off actually. I'm not going to try it right now, but oh, yeah, so yeah, you can see it kind of comes off easily, and I'll probably leave it like that just so that if I ever need to get behind it, get underneath it, get inside of it, I can do that quite easily. But the other thing I'll note actually is that actually I need that box back. If you look at the box here, the silver that's used is a bit lighter than I think the one that I ended up using. The one that I ended up using is kind of a darker silver, and this one here looks a little brighter, I think. So the next time I hop into any kind of hobby store or whatever, I'll probably end up picking up some lighter silver just to bring it up a bit, just to make it a little brighter than the darker tone. I think it looks fine, like the way I have it right now, but just to be ever so slightly more accurate. I really want this vending machine to look super accurate. I mean, it is kind of mundane, so you kind of want to do what you can to give it a little more personality. I guess that's the whole point, right? Give it a little more unique look to it. And yeah, so getting a slightly brighter silver I think will help with that. But another thing, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention was that I tried to do some masking for this. Like I masked off all of these areas on either side of the part that's supposed to be silver. I masked off everything. I was like doing that while watching Bacon stream one time. Took the like like 2/3 of his entire stream to do all that, and then I started painting it. But when I peeled off the masking tape, some of the lines still kind of weren't sharp. They weren't sharp lines. Some of the paint may have kind of bled underneath it. Maybe I thinned out my paint too much and it bled underneath, or I didn't take the time to sort of pat down the tape to make it like really nice and flat. Because again, that was my first time really trying that. So then I kind of had to go back and fix all the lines and kind of paint a bit by hand, as well as erasing the parts that kind of went over. And if you ever kind of run into that issue yourself, where you've kind of overpainted, you can actually use just like a straight up eraser, like a white eraser, and just rub off the excess paint. You can do a little carefully, of course, especially if you're doing it on a painted surface. You want to take, so there's like the base color of paint, and then the extra marking of paint that you want to take off. Just do it carefully, but that can work too if the paint is dried. This is the bare plastic, so it was really easy to kind of rub into it and just erase it. And if I look really closely, I can tell that the lines are still not super straight, but generally this looks okay to me. Like, yeah, there's definitely stuff, like if you were to look at it in person, you can kind of see that there's some lines that aren't straight and stuff. But yeah, I think it's not too bad. At the end of the day, I don't have to go too crazy on this to make it look like super amazing. It kind of just needs to be exactly this. And again, the whole reasoning why I picked this up was that it'll be a nice kind of accessory that'll go with my Sosai Shoujo Taiyin model. And that the build on that model is coming soon. We've got to get through the backlog of all this stuff as well. You know, we kind of have to make a dent in the backlog first before we kind of jump into more stuff. But actually, there's something else that I wanted to show. Oh yeah, take a look at this. Might be a little hard to see, but these are the bowls. This model kit comes with 2 bowls of udon, soba, noodles, and the sculpting. And again, unfortunately, it'll probably be breaking. Gotta break a few more things. Yeah. So this model I did get a break on this, but it's invisible. It's I think there's the unit that goes underneath here. It's sort of like just like a, I don't know what you want to call it, like a receptacle that goes on the underside of this panel. There's just one peg that broke, so that was a fairly innocent, fairly unimportant breakage, but we dealt with that. I glued it. But yeah, so unfortunately it might be hard to see, but the sculpting of the noodles is really, really good. It's really detailed. Like, you can see the individual strands of the noodles, that curly fish cake thing with the swirl, and then what looks to be some kind of vegetable. And I painted the bowl gray. It might be hard to see just because my background is gray. But I painted the bowl gray. That's just temporary for the primer. And yeah, I'll be painting this. There's a sticker that you can use instead. I can show that. Why not? You can take a quick look at that. Yeah, so there's a sticker. There's a number of stickers that I ended up not using. But yeah, there's a sticker that you can put on for the noodles. One looks to be darker. Maybe that's supposed to be like the buckwheat noodles. And then one looks like lighter. Maybe that's the flour-based noodles. But I don't want to use a sticker. I'm going to go paint these noodles. So that's another thing that I'll do. We're almost at the 3-hour mark, so I probably won't start this right now, but I'll probably do this on stream just because it's kind of funny to do. But yeah, got some noodles to paint, and also there's tiny little chopsticks too. They're so small, and I almost thought that these were like disposable, like just a non-usable piece of the model. I thought this was just scraps, but yeah, it's the chopsticks. Get 2 pairs, and again, you might not be able to see, but there's a seam in the middle, so they haven't been split apart. They're like basic cheap noodle, cheap not noodles, cheap wooden chopsticks that you'll have to split. And the bowl, actually, I was considering painting the bowl more like a china, like a fine china bowl, or I don't know what's the right term, but you know, like the Chinese bowls with like that are white and have like a blue kind of painted pattern around them. I was thinking about doing that, maybe for one, but the noodles that actually, the bowl that you would get from these vending machines is just like a, you know, a basic, maybe waxed cardboard bowl, some kind of like disposable material bowl. So I might just kind of use that color as well. It's kind of like a papery brown. Hey, how's it going? Thank you for the follow. Esterella. How's it going, Esterella? Thanks for the follow. Yeah, so yeah, the bowl, maybe at least one of them I'll paint plain and normal, and another one I'll paint more like a fancier bowl. Maybe. We'll see. I can't imagine this taking too long, but actually, hold up. I have something else that I can show real quick. Esterella, I've been lurking since you started explaining how unique you could make these. It's been nice listening and learning about this. Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean it's a fairly simple and model that could be boring, right? Like you could kind of just make it, and that's that. And it is sort of like an everyday normal object at the end of the day, at least in Japan, right? But I don't know. I feel like if I even bothered to buy this thing, as I did, obviously, I'd want to at least take a little more time to do something to it more, if that makes sense. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention also is that, like I said, I want to paint the noodles, and I have this here Tamiya Color acrylic paint, clear, and it's kind of like this clear gloss. Obviously, it doesn't look all that impressive on stream, but yeah, it's just a clear gloss. And once I'm done painting this, I'll just do 1 or 2 quick layers of this stuff on top, and that'll sort of make the noodles in the soup look glossy and watery. And that'll be neat, I think. Esterella, I was thinking you could add random little scratches and dents, like the ones you'd seen in real life. Oh yeah, that's an idea. Like I said, like some kind of weathering and stuff would be pretty neat. And I could light it up. Yeah, and actually, that does seem possible to light it up. And in real life, this sign here would definitely be lit up, for sure. And I don't think it's impossible to do that. As I said, this whole entire interior is just hollow, and it's easy enough to just open it up and do that. And you could probably cut out a hole here, but the whole lighting situation is like a whole step beyond me at this point. I feel like I'm not as confident at my ability to do that, but that is something to consider for sure. Especially in this world where like people are lighting up Gundams and Gunpla and stuff. I do think that could be possible. Esrella, then I'll look like the tastiest fake noodles for sure. Like that's a thing in Japan. They've got like all sorts of, like a whole industry where they make replica life-size noodles just to look like the things that you're going to be able to buy at the store. So yeah, so that's just another quick look at something that I built. And I do have some plans to work on it further, but at the very least, we can kind of we can leave it at that for now, and come back to it later as we move on to the other things. Estrella, that's fair. It still looks cool even when it's not lit up. Yeah, it looks pretty neat so far. Um, the store that I bought that at, it was Panda Hobby in Toronto. They had a burger vending machine, which is kind of neat. And in the past, it's not as easy to find right now, but they also made here. Let's put something here. You guys can see while I'm talking. They also made like a gotcha machine, like a egg machine and stuff like that. I'm kind of interested in buying stuff like that, just to kind of go with my models that I'm going to be buying in the future, and the ones that I currently have. Some 1 in 10 scale models, dolls. uh, yeah, yeah. Let me. That's kind of funny too, though. I'll just say that like I was at the antique store last week, and this antique store had stuff for dolls. Now, the models that I'm going to be using, that the whole intention for this was to be an accessory for my girl pla, if you want to call it that, 1 in 10 scale Sosai Sojo Taiyan line. I bought one model of that, and maybe I'll get more in the future. But ever since I bought that model, I was looking at other accessories that are in the same scale. So now, when I'm at like an antique store and then there's someone selling dolls and stuff for dolls, like carpets and tea sets and chairs and tables, I always think in the back of my mind like, would this go with my model kit? I'm like, oh my god, what's happened to me? I'm looking at dolls now. I've gotten I've I've lost my way. I used to be all about robots and soldier toys and all that. Now I'm looking at dolls. uh Bacon, just like the food samples, I'd love to collect those. Yeah, I wonder how much those cost though. Something tells me that because they're so well made, that a lot of those dolls, sorry dolls, I've been talking about dolls. A lot of those things might actually end up being kind of expensive. Because they're quite large, right? And consider how expensive like tiny little models of like noodles and stuff are. So like a life-size one would probably be pretty up there. Estrella combine the doll stuff with Gundams to make it very dynamic. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. The dream is to have my RX-78 have a nice tea party with Char's Zaku. They'll be sitting together, having some tea, eating some scones together. Do a photo shoot. That's actually one of the other things. So, by the way, Estrella, are you someone that's interested in building models? What aspect of the hobby are you interested in? Because here I am streaming in the crafting category. Are you into crafting as well? What's my thumbnail on the on the on Twitch right now? Was it like the vending machine, I guess? But yeah, um, that's the other thing. Ever since kind of coming back into this hobby as of late, was this whole aspect of taking photos of your models. It's kind of really interesting to me. I think it's kind of fun too. It's like a another aspect of the hobby is taking cool photos of your stuff. It's not something that I really did previously, so yeah, having fun with that. Astral, I've built a few, but I don't really have the money to buy a bunch. I just like the aspect of zoning out and building. The thumbnail was the vending machine. Yeah, I figure that's kind of a unusual thing that you might see on Twitch. I'm like, huh, what's that? A vending machine? Okay, cool. Do you happen to stream yourself? I like to ask that for people who are entering the stream for the first time, just to as a bit of a promotion. If they'd like to promote their stuff, I can you know take a look. Now I'm just painting. I'm back to painting this model. I just want to get a second layer on this guy. and then we might wrap things up. I'm applying this paint quite thin, as is the custom. And then hoping I can get some Elden Ring time later today. I'll play some Elden Ring. Hopefully make some progress in that game. Oh, I dropped it. Okay, it's good. We're good. Estrella felt like browsing the makers and crafting because I was looking for clay streamers and found this instead. And yeah, oh, you stream digital art once in a while and other types of art. Cool. This looks so relaxing to work on. Yeah, I do enjoy this hobby for that aspect of it as well. I find myself painting a lot in the winter because the winter, I don't know, it kind of bums me out sometimes. And painting models is a nice way to kind of relax and not feel as bummed out. That's one of the reasons why I kind of got back into painting. But yeah, I actually want to do some art streams like drawing and stuff on stream. But I haven't really done too much of it lately. But yeah, that's cool. I'll definitely check out your work. And again, thanks for the follow. I really do appreciate it. I'm a fairly new channel. I basically have just started streaming less than a year ago. I don't know 100% when my streaming anniversary is going to be, but I'm guessing it's going to come up within the next few months or something. But yeah, I feel like I'm kind of new to this whole thing, and yeah, it's been actually really neat meeting people, talking to people about different things, the hobby and stuff. Even people that aren't super into the hobby, but they're into like adjacent hobbies. That's kind of fun. Welcome. Cool. Yeah. A lot of people have been really cool too. There's this whole thing about being for a good long while I was a little leery of starting on Twitch and stuff just because, you hear a lot of horror stories, but I mean generally I've encountered just a lot of nice people really, so that's cool. I mean occasionally you get some people that aren't so nice, but yeah, generally it's been pretty good. Esterella, lol, the idea of staying inside in winter is definitely more appealing. Yeah. Just cooped up inside, especially with everything that's going on in the world, and just get absorbed into painting or building Lego or building Gunpla models and stuff. So what kind of things do you draw digitally? What are you into? Let me just make sure that's not. Again, I'm trying to not paint too heavily. Try not to apply the paint too thickly. Just do like 2 to 3 coats, and that should be good enough. But it does take a little while for this paint to dry, so kind of have to just let it dry fully and then apply a second layer. Ooh, put this thing. Esterella, I mostly do character illustrations just for fun. I'm not really sure what I want to do with my art besides have fun with it for now. It's hard to stream it sometimes because it's so easy to get distracted when talking to others. Yeah, that's something that I'm discovering as well. Like between me and my other friends, close personal friends that have started streaming, we've all sort of discovered that it's hard to get stuff done when you want to interact with people and work. It's a it's something that I haven't really nailed down as well. Sorry for giant paragraphs of text. That is fine, no problem at all. I've got some regulars here that show up and also are quite fond of paragraphs. I might be one of those people too when I'm showing up in other streams. I definitely have a tendency to do that. It never feels it never feels like I'm saying a lot until I send click. Bacon, at least this category feels very welcoming and pleasant. Yeah, yeah, I see what you mean, Bacon. It's a wholesome category. I think it hasn't been. Amaranth hasn't. She hasn't uh, invaded this category yet. the uh, the ASMR category used to be so wholesome, and now it's a different world out there. Let's just put it that way. Okay, let's just yeah. This paint is quite thin, and I haven't. I'm not sure if I want to get more paint right now because I'm pretty close to wrapping things up. Let's see. So yeah, later today I'll probably apply the final layer of paint on these parts just so that it's a nice even coat. And then we're gonna try out the weathering powder that I had made earlier. These things, I crushed up a bunch of pastels. You can see here it's like this orangey color, and we'll try and start weathering this. Should be quite interesting. Esterella, but yeah, as I mentioned above, and you might have missed, I may have missed it. If you're ever interested in connecting with other artists on Twitch and showing what you do, there's a group I'm a part of that does just that. Oh, what is the name of this group? Let me see. I must have missed it. Oh, okay. You're always welcome to join if you're interested in connecting with other artists. This model building type of stream counts as art to me. Let's see. Did you mention it? I may have missed it. SRL, that crushed up pastel looks like sand. Yeah, I mean, effectively, that's all it is at this point. It's just basically ground up pigment. And I'll be brushing it on to the model to act as like a kind of weathering. That's the plan, at least. And I made a couple of other colors earlier today. This one here is kind of like a orangey, bright orange. That'll be good for rust. And this one's a more reddish color. This one here, reddish brown. And yeah, I'm gonna try and apply it to this. I think it'll look really nice as a contrast to this verdigris tealish color. Astrologers are called Artist Back Alley, and every few months we have a weekend where artists can sign up for an hour of stream time and they raid the next artist on schedule. Oh, interesting. I will definitely look into that. That does sound pretty interesting. But yeah, I think I covered just about everything that I wanted to do today and talk about and work on. So all in all, a pretty productive day on stream. Estrella, those colors look nice. Yeah, they look pretty nice. I think that it's gonna look nice all together. I think maybe, hopefully. Estrella, how often do I stream models like this? So yeah, I stream just about, I want to say 3 times a week. I used to stream a little more, but then I kind of relaxed my schedule a bit more. But yeah, just about 3 times a week, and I don't really have a schedule per se as of yet, but more often than not, if I'm streaming, it's gonna be around 2 to 3 o'clock Eastern time. And yeah, I don't really have a schedule. That's something that I kind of would like to work on a bit more, is to have a real actual schedule. But for now, yeah, that's as much as I have, and as far as how my frequency, and I'm pretty much alternating between working on models like this, building and painting models, as well as like miniatures like these guys here, or my Warhammer guys, or like this beholder dude, that stuff, and um, and also playing games. Basically, I kind of alternate between that and playing games. And like I said, I have in the past done a few drawing, like actual drawing illustration streams, but I haven't done as much lately. That's something that I'd like to do a bit more of in the future. Gotcha. Keep an eye out then. Yep. I'm interested in seeing how you paint the rust. Yep, I'm definitely going to be doing that on stream as well, the rust. Love that beholder dude. I like that too. I like that guy too. Oh yeah, this bacon, this is the one that I put the top coat on. It probably isn't too noticeable, the difference, but it is less glossy. When I previously before spraying it with the top coat, he was really glossy, and I didn't like it. Although in some respects, a glossy beholder, that doesn't sound that unusual. I could easily imagine a beholder being kind of wet and weirdly scaly and slightly slimy looking, I guess, being in a damp dungeon. That doesn't sound too unusual. But personally, I that wasn't my intent when painting this model, so that's why I hit it with the top coat. And boy, does that stuff smell. Top coat, I mean, it is effectively varnish, and varnish smells to high heavens as well, so I shouldn't be that surprised. But yeah, it was pretty foul. But I sprayed it, and it looks pretty good. And I only did one coat. I feel like if I did a second and third coat, it'd look better. And that applies to these guys as well. These are the ones that I hit with the top coat, and it kind of knocked back the glossiness of the. Oh, Mojo's here. What's up, Mojo? How's it going? How you doing, Mojo? Esterella, that's awesome. Love that beholder, dude. Yeah. I actually I actually have this guy just off screen, on my table at all times, staring at me, just because I think it's funny, and maybe he keeps me working, just having this guy looking at me. And yeah, so this blade here, the decal here, it's kind of shiny. A reminder that I'm being watched, pretty much. Just staring at me, making sure that I'm at least trying to be productive or something. Yeah, so the decal still looks a little shiny, but I knocked it back a bit with the top coat. And I feel like if I did a second top coat, it would probably second or third top coat, it might kind of knock it back even further. So that's good, but I just didn't feel like doing that at the moment, just because I was like, this stuff smells so bad. Mostly because of the smell, really. And this one here, I hit it with the top coat. I hit it with a different matte varnish that I just got at Walmart, and it was like low odor, so it didn't smell as bad, which is good. But I think that the decal is a little more shiny still, and you can kind of look at the area around the decal, and it looks like a little frosted or something. Might want to consider getting a respirator. Yeah, that's definitely something that I need to do, especially if I'm going to be doing a lot of spray painting and stuff. I mean, I used to, sorry, scratch the mic there. Mojo, doing good farming runes? 1 million runes? What do you need all those runes for? What do you need all those runes for? How are you going about farming them, by the way? Yeah, so I'll spray these guys another time. Hit them up with another layer of coat. I'm awaiting Mojo's response. How did you farm that many runes? Talking about Elden Ring, by the way. I'm looking forward to playing a bit of Elden Ring later today, making some progress in that game. And he just spent it all. You blew away your cash. Here's an example of the Gundam. that might be operating that vending machine right here. Mojo, you're farming 40k plus runes every 15 seconds? What the heck? How are you doing that? Your emotes are really cool, by the way, Estorella. Did you make them yourself? Those are really cool. They're really neat. I actually am thinking like so I just made uh affiliate uh, last month, but I don't really have a firm idea of what I want to do for my emotes. So yeah, I'm kind of I have a couple of ideas, but yeah, I'm not really 100% sure. So I'm thinking about it, what to do. You did make those. Okay, cool. Yeah, they're really great. Really good stuff. Good job. Oh, and congrats. Thanks. Yeah. Mojo farming Mogwin Dynasty. So these are words that I am completely unfamiliar with other than farming and inn. So I'm not there yet. I'm assuming that once I get there I will be able to experience this bounty of farming and XP that you are doing. Estrella, emotes aren't impermanent, so you can always change them in the future in case you're indecisive. Yeah, so I'm super indecisive about about the emote situation. So yeah, I think this weekend, 100%, uh, I'm gonna take some time this weekend to try and figure out at least one or two emotes to do. That's gonna be my goal. I want to do that. But yeah, I think that's good luck. Yeah, hopefully I can do that. I think that's gonna do it for me, everyone. I want to thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, Estorella, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Nice meeting you, and I'll definitely catch your channel in the future. Uh, Mojo and Bacon, all the usual suspects. Mary Trunks, everybody that came in. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks again, Estrella, and I'll catch you guys next time. GG.